Today we're here with Icon Vehicle Dynamics, and we have Scott Spiva here to talk through us the Icon alloy line. Now, Icon makes a lot of great suspension products, but a lot of people don't know that they actually took that a step further and actually made wheels to go along with their suspension products. Scott can kind of fill us in on that.
The reason that Icon alloys came to be was basically that Icon would have a very specific wheel fitment, offset backspacing for any one of our numerous suspension systems. It became obvious fairly quickly that the exact thing that we would want to recommend wasn't always offered by the various manufacturers. And there's no one right or wrong answer to the way that you set up the truck with the wheel and tire package, but there's a kind of a sweet spot you want it to land so that we were pushing it outboard a little bit, making it look more aggressive, but also is going to clear everything when you're turning or when the suspension's articulating, so you don't have to get in with the Sawzall and cut up your truck. There's always a nice happy medium where you can fit the largest tire possible as least invasive as possible too. And that's so kind of stemmed it from there. So all of the Icon Alloys wheels are designed with suspension in mind, and their application specifics. We figured out that backspace, that offset, hub bore, bolt pattern, caliper clearance from the spokes, all that stuff really comes down to a truly application-specific wheel across the board. And so you have your choice of different designs, different colors, different finishes even, but that same guaranteed fitment is what we're after.
Well, and a lot of people don't really understand wheels. I mean, they're very complex when you really think about it. It's a wheel, so you think, oh, it's got to be the simplest thing ever. It's been around forever, right?
You'd think so.
But unfortunately, with these vehicles, you got a lot of changes that happen with the vehicle in terms of backspacing and offset and centerboard. You touched on a lot of those things. You can get a great look, but the thing could stick out 6 inches from the side of your brand new truck and huck rocks all over it all the time. Or every time you turn, you don't want to turn because you're going to rub against the radius arm, or you're going to rub against one of the tie brackets, or any of the things that are underneath there. And so having a manufacturer who really understands suspension also make a wheel that fits with their suspension they can recommend it is a great idea.
Awesome. Well, that's what we were going after, so I'm glad it's been working. And along the way, we've come out with some new, tech, trying to reinvent the wheel, so to speak. And so we've developed our own beadlock system. We call that Interlock. And you'll find that on a few different wheel designs now. And that's, that we usually have the Pro name in them, like this is the Rebound Pro here. But all the Pro wheels feature the Interlock technology, which is a series of hardened alloy pins here that thread through the wheel. It sounds counterintuitive. We've got a bunch of holes in the wheel now, but these are all O-ring sealed with the same exact O-rings that we use for shock absorbers. So they regularly handle much higher temperatures and much higher pressure than the tire's ever going to see. And so we have really good luck with no leaks. That's always the number one concern, because we got more leak paths in the wheel.
So over time, that's not going to leak. It's not going to back out and have a problem like that.
Nope. There's no load on the bolts. So once you torque them down, they are good to go. The O-ring it's a static O-ring. It's not like a shock seal where something moving back and forth constantly. So they tend to last a really long time. The important part is to apply some oil or other lubricant, WD-40, spit on them, something to lubricate the O-ring on install. So as you're torquing that down, it doesn't want to twist or tear on you. Some soapy water after you got it aired up will just validate that, and you're good to go until it's time for new tires, basically. To try to validate all that too, we actually ran a test during development where we ran a wheel with no O-rings, just the fit between the threads and the anti-seize. And it still took a considerable amount of time, hours in fact, for the tire to lose enough pressure where it had a visibly sidewall bulge, I guess, going on. So there's no, if somehow we were to lose all of your O-rings at one time miraculously, you're not just going to lose tire pressure rapidly and cause an unsafe situation. It'll be just like a nail in your tire, pretty much.
And one of the things you mentioned is that because a normal beadlock, and if anybody of us who have ever installed a beadlock wheel before knows that it's not a 5-minute deal. You can put a wheel on a tire a lot faster than you can put a beadlock wheel and tire together, because you got to torque every one of those bolts down and hope that you've got that all right and that the pressure's the same all the way across. And if any of those back off and you lose that ring, now you've got no surface, and that tire is going to come off. So one of the things that in that technology you've designed for the Interlock is that these are DOT compliant now as well, where a normal beadlock is not.
Correct. If you ever have some sort of issue with a traditional bead lock on the road, that opens you up for a lot of liability issues. Insurance may not want to cover you, or you get hassled by the state police, that sort of thing, because there's inherently, if they're not maintained properly, they can be unsafe. Whereas this, if it takes all that worry out, and you get the same effectiveness from a performance standpoint, and they can be mounted and balanced by any tire shop with any special tools or anything required. It's super easy. So it's overall a better way to do it, we think. The wheels end up costing less than a traditional beadlock too. They're lighter, easier to balance, so it's a win-win on pretty much every front.
That's a really, really unique application to be able to do something like that, where it's easy for you to buy it. It's cost effective. Normally beadlocks are really expensive wheels. They're typically forged. There's a lot of things that go into play where you can actually get a regular person can buy a set of these wheels and know that they're going to have a super safe, no hassle process with that wheel.
Exactly.
Well, there you have it. Icon Vehicle Dynamics makes not only suspension components, but a whole line of wheels to be able to tie together to their suspensions to really give you the whole package all in one place. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below, and we'll get with you as soon as we can.